All right, indeed, India's Akshay Dongre joins us for more. Hi, Akshay, very good morning to you. Akshay, how do you analyze the situation in West Asia as of now, first of all?
Well, Siddharth, if we talk about the situation in West Asia, tensions obviously persist and have heightened with the attacks that have been carried out on Lebanon. Now, Israel calls these attacks against Hezbollah, but the situation has become far more complicated than it appears to be, because the entire peace process, the entire ceasefire now rests on the fact that Iran is, calling for a complete halt on attacks on Lebanon. However, Israel and US argue that it was not part of the original peace plan and the 10-point, that Iran had given for the ceasefire. So the situation remains quite complicated, quite fragile as far as the peace is concerned, because while we are talking on one hand about a lasting peace in the region, but the core issues and the core areas of tussle between the US-Israel group and Iran, they still persist. US is calling for an opening of Strait of Hormuz, but restrictions still remain in the place. Iran has expressed its wish to levy a toll on the ships that cross the waters. That will obviously increase the overall cost of shipping through that route. Besides just that, there are landmines that are, there are mines that are still there in the waterways that were originally planned by Iran to stop the shipping lanes without its permission. But it is going to take a lot of time to remove those mines, even if the lasting ceasefire and lasting proposal of ceasefire is agreed upon by all the parties. We are just talking 48 hours after the ceasefire has been announced almost, but no concrete sign of peace from either side has come as of now. There are talks in Islamabad, and there are already questions being raised about the credibility of Pakistan as a peace broker in this entire conflict, with the defense minister himself calling for annihilation of the state of Israel that has been objected to by the Israeli government, as calling for how can a country that is calling for its annihilation can exactly be a neutral peacemaker. So the entire peacemaking process right now seems to be in doldrums, and it seems that if this peace process by Pakistan doesn't work out, then there will have to be new players that will need to step in to ensure that a neutral party brokers a lasting peace, because otherwise it is only going to be a temporary arrangement as of now, which is once again going to fracture open as soon as some pressure is mounted on it, as soon as some tensions rise again, as far as this entire complicated situation is concerned. Back to you, Siddharth.
Definitely, Akshay. By what you're saying, it seems like the situation right now is very complex. We're also joined by Akhilesh Suman, DD India correspondent. Akshay, stay with us. I'll get back to you. But coming across to you, Akhilesh, a very good morning. First of all, situation certainly is very tense when it comes to West Asia region. Akhilesh, Trump is saying that Iran is doing a very poor job. And the truce perhaps is in jeopardy, maybe. How do you analyze this entire situation right now, Akhilesh?
Siddharth, world sympathy has been with Iran for after this war broke out.
Okay.
But Iran used the Strait of Hormuz as its bargaining chip. But this Strait of Hormuz is international property, international water. Iran is trying to, take it as its personal country's resource and source. So I think that is creating a lot of jeopardy in the whole negotiation process, because because of Strait of Hormuz, not only US and Israel are affected, but the whole world is getting affected.
Yeah, in fact, including the global economy, the oil supply chain, and a lot of things.
Yeah, So in that way, you can say that Trump is right in saying that, once it is fully open, earlier status quo should be, established, and so that it can be positive talk, and the whole world sympathy should go to the, negotiation between US and Iran. And in between, Israel is also a party. You cannot negate that Israel is not a party, because basic problem is between Iran and Israel. And if you don't call Israel for talks, if you keep Israel away from talks, I think it is not going to be fruitful at all, and it has not never been fruitful. So in this war also, we have heard that JD was saying that Israel attacked first and then we have to come. Though there was conflicting position later, Donald Trump came out and said that it was joint operation. But you can understand that without Israel, any negotiation on Pakistani soil, that is also called a terrorist state. Pakistan is the main mothership of terrorism for quite a long time.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Completely agree.
It is a really hilarious situation. And that US has a tendency to go in trap of Pakistan, not more than once, but more than once actually. That we have seen that during Afghanistan war, what has happened. Pakistan was used, and then it came in 9/11, and and then Osama bin Laden was found in Pakistan. So I think in that situation, the whole negotiation process is on faulty base.
Definitely.
And Mr. Shahbaz Sharif, who came out in open about who will be doing what, I think it was like more than your paycheck.
Definitely.
It was not expected.
Akhilesh, in fact, Akshay was also saying the same, Pakistan's credibility is being challenged everywhere. I think, Akshay, from the global leaders and from the global world as well. But I want to ask you one thing here, Akhilesh, that is, can you give us any update regarding if Iran is charging fees on oil tankers as of now?
As far as Indian sources, Iran has not charged any money from Indian ships that has passed through the Strait of Hormuz. But there are, reports, and there are whispers on the ground that yes, Iran is charging $2 million per ship. So I think it is quite a hefty amount, and it's quite illogical that you are charging, and then it has declared yesterday that parts of the main water of the Strait of Hormuz is mined. That means that everyone passing through that Strait of Hormuz is under danger. It is also saying that only 15 ships will be allowed to pass. So that is really objectionable. And Iran is losing sympathy from all over the world that you are charging for a place that is a common property of the world. So in that way, I think the negotiation process is going to be quite complicated. And in between you have seen that, Israel is going to talk with Lebanon directly. That is a good welcome situation, that Israel should talk to Lebanon directly. And I will also hope that some time will come. Then Iran and Israel should also talk directly. Iran, Israel and US should talk directly instead of any mediation like a country which doesn't have any credibility in the world.
Definitely. Also, Akhilesh, there are so many developments happening. We'll just have to wait and see what will unfold in future. But Akshay, very quickly, what updates do you have as far as these talks in Islamabad are concerned? The talks between Iran and United States, with Pakistan being the mediator.
Talks are slated to take place, but already on quite shaky grounds, as Akhilesh also pointed out, that we are talking about a country that has been one of the largest source of terrorism, not just in the region, but the entire world. Osama bin Laden to Al-Jawairi and all the other top terror organization chiefs have found sanctuary in Pakistan. Pakistan has been called out time and again. It has been on the grey list of FATF. It has been many a times condemned by global leaders for its role in supporting terrorism. Just a few days back, we have seen how Pakistan sponsored Pahalgam terror attack in India, and there was a conflict between the two countries as well, and it has openly supported terror elements, some of the worst ones around the world. It has recently been in a conflict with Afghanistan, where it has bombed several of the civilian areas. So the credibility of Pakistan is already being questioned.
I understand. So the talks will take place, but on shaky grounds, Akshay.
Absolutely.
Akshay, that's what you're saying. Okay. Thank you so much, Akshay and Akhilesh, for joining in and for your analysis, for your respective analysis. Thank you so much, both of you. We leave it there as of now.